Coco follows a 12-year-old boy named Miguel who is accidentally transported to the land of the dead, where he seeks the help of his deceased musician great great grandfather to return him to his family and reverse their ban on music. So, in celebration of Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, if you for those who speak Spanish and are Mexican, I decided to, I've seen this movie already, but I've never posted a review here on my YouTube channel, and the reason is because I didn't technically my YouTube channel technically started well, yes, it started in 2018, but I mean, I had to check, but I believe my very first movie review on my YouTube channel was way back in 2019, and this movie came out in 2017. Back then, I didn't know how to do like I didn't know how to make a YouTube video. All I did was watch a movie, and then watch a movie, and then I would create like a Facebook page, a separate like Facebook page, like a separate account under my Facebook page, a separate page, excuse me, under my Facebook account, and I would type all these articles, and not articles, but I would type all my reviews of these film of movies and TV shows back then, and one of them was Coco. I typed and posted my review for Coco, and this movie was amazing. I did not see this movie in theaters. I don't remember exactly. I think might have rented the movie somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember the exact details back then, but I think I rented it somewhere, but I rented it. I was blown away by it, and I could not believe I missed this movie out in theaters, because this movie is phenomenal. I love this movie. It's great. Like Pixar, I mean, it's Pixar. You know, it's Pixar. Never doubt Pixar. They pump out a lot of great content. Well, for the most part. Um, but yeah, like the concept of Coco is really inspired by the Mexican holiday, as I said and mentioned earlier in this video, of the Day of the Dead. And Pixar began developing the animation back in 2016, and the composer at the time was Michael Giacchino, who does a lot of Disney projects and MCU projects. He did the music. The one that I know, like on the top of my head, like that I can think about right now, is he composed the music, the score for Werewolf by Night, and which is the first project that he ever like directed. So you guys know, like the music is just so beautiful and just spiritual, and that the music and the animation, like, it's just amazing, ladies and gentlemen. And I didn't cry, but it was very heartbreaking and a very emotional story coming from Pixar. I just love Pixar. They're when it comes to animation, and storytelling and narrative, and the narrative and the story of it, I just love them. So we're going to break this movie review down. You guys know how it goes, the positives and then the negatives. If I have any issues with it, I'll mention them, but I don't think I have too much. But yeah, the premise. So yeah, let's just dive right in, shall we? But yeah, the premise of a boy who seeks the help of his deceased musician great great grandfather to return him to his family among the living, and in order to reverse his family's ban on music, is such a unique premise, and it is very well executed. And I just love that concept. It very accurately depicts the Day of the Dead holiday, It also includes many other aspects of Mexican culture and stays true to them. In fact, many Hispanics helped write the movie, thus, it gives a more accurate representation of Mexican culture rather than just assuming what it is or just, looking it up on, Wikipedia or some article, some bullshit article, you know what I mean? Um, the film also has has an emotional and touching plot with a really good moral about how family is more important than we think, as well as realizing who you should look up to. It also has a message about using your talents to express and not just to impress, such types of people. And there are some great voice actings all around. I mean, like Anthony Gonzalez, Benjamin Bratt, some other names. Um, some other names I don't want to mispronounce or butcher their names, but you guys know who they are. You guys know who they are. I like the cast. Every single one of them delivered such a great performance, and I just want to give them a round of applause for each and every single one of them because it's amazing. Um, and yeah, like most of most of most of them have fantastic most of these characters have great development. For example, at the start of the movie, Imelda originally, like I said, if I mispronounce or butcher any of these names going forward, please, I'm so sorry, please excuse me. But yeah, Imelda originally refused to welcome Hector back to the Riveras and disowned him, as she believed him to have abandoned her and Coco for his music. But later, she changed her mind and spent time at the Riveras with Hector. So that's just one example of just a fantastic, of great character development, and there's many more too. It has a very, this film has a very beautiful and detailed animation. I mean, it's Pixar, for crying out loud. Especially when the setting shifts to the land of the dead with its amazing lighting and charming set design. The animation is also a major step up from earlier Pixar animated films at the time. I mean, this film came out in 2017, such as Red's Dream and Tin Toy. It has a very gorgeous, oh my god, like a colorful, like autumn and fall, theme, color scheme that fits the mood of the film, of the movie, so well. And it has amazing songs that is just chock full of earworms that you'll gladly be singing along for months. My the one for me, the one song is for "Remember Me." Remembered me. I'm not gonna sing it, but I'm not gonna sing it. But that's just one example. Like after this movie was over, I downloaded that song. I downloaded that song, and I listened to it like when I'm in like the Disney Pixar mood. I just go back to it. I downloaded it on Spotify. I listened to Remember Me and the soundtrack and the score, all of it. Like it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And like I said, Michael Giacchino's musical score is absolutely amazing. There's plenty of creative plot twists and turns. Like Hector is actually Miguel's great great grandfather and Coco's father. Like what? Like and the Latin Americans Spanish dub is also amazing if you choose that. If you choose that option, with many of the roles, even minor, filled in by Mexican celebrities. But yeah, and Ernesto is among the most popular modern like Disney Pixar villains, only being rivaled by Turbo, mainly because he manages to be both charismatic and totally ruthless without breaking previously established characterization, but rather putting his previous scenes into new light. He's pretty much what Disney tried and failed to do with their previous attempts at the hidden villain. In addition, the revelation of Ernesto was quite better executed, surprising and dramatic towards both the critics and the general audience, the movie-going audience. The characters have beautiful designs most of the time, if not, all the time for the whole, throughout the whole movie. And yeah, the fact that Dante is also in, I'm gonna be mispronouncing this word or this name, aljibre, is likely referencing how ancient Mexicans believed that real, oh God, Zolo. I might have to put that name, like, I might have to put that name up because I can't pronounce that. That's way too long. But I think you guys know what I was about to say. We're companions for them in the afterlife. This is another example of how the movie stays true to Mexican culture. Yeah, I'll put that name up because I'm not gonna. There's no way I'm gonna fall apart with that, if I pronounce that name to like 100%, but anyway, yeah. Miguel, like, throughout this entire film from start to finish, is always such a likable and reliable protagonist. I love him. I love the character of Miguel, and Anthony Gonzalez voicing him. It's just amazing. He brings such an amazing, like I said, like, all of them did a great job, uh, especially Anthony, who voiced Miguel. There's a lot of heartwarming and sad scenes, guys, in this film. If you are sensitive when it comes to watching films that deal with emotions, or sadness or loss or tragedy, you might not you might want to skip this movie, because I have a strong feeling that you might cry when watching this film. Like, I was like halfway there. I was halfway there. Like, this film was very sad, like, and heartwarming, but also heartwarming at the same time. Like when Miguel learns the truth about Hector, and the now famous scene where he plays, oh my God, Remember Me to Coco in order to help her from completely forgetting about Hector before it's too late. Guys, that scene, oh my God, it broke me down. It broke me down. That was the one scene. That was the one sad scene. Like, he was playing that song, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like on my knees, ready to like broken down, because it was so powerful and impactful. And the jokes are like really funny. Like, for a Pixar film, it's really funny and memorable. Like Miguel finding Dante and telling him to do tricks and a spider monkey alibre. I feel like I'm keep mispronouncing these words. Riding on Dante's back, hilarious, just funny, funny moments. But yeah, Hector is a hilarious and awesome character. Thanks to the Mexican voice actor Gael Garcia Bonel, who I believe. Let me actually look this up, guys. La 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 la. Yes, yes. He played Jack Russell. He was in the MCU Marvel Disney Plus. He played the werewolf in the werewolf Marvel Disney Plus show. He did a great job in that special presentation. But yeah, he did. I loved his performance in this, as Hector. There are some memorable and hilarious quotes here as well. Like, no music. We may have our difference, but nothing's more important than family. Those are two examples. Although the movie is similar to the Book of Life, there are actually different parts and rather well execution in this film. And guys, there's incredible and by the way, the ending for this film is incredible, yet it's heartbreaking and emotional. Miguel, and I'm going, and by the way, I should have mentioned this from the beginning, but it's too late now. Spoilers, spoilers, whatever. Miguel, after receiving Hector and Imelda's blessing, rushes back to his home before the latter can be truly forgotten, and and manages to play Remember Me for Mama Coco, causing her to brighten and sing along with him. Oh my god. She reveals that she had saved the torn off piece of the family photo with Hector's face on it, and my Mexican, like Spanish accent is starting to come out a bit by bit. Oh my god. Then tells her family stories about her father, thus saving his memory as well as his existence in the land of the dead. Upon learning more about Hector and what really happened to him, Miguel's family reconciles with him, ending the ban on music. 1 year later, Miguel presents the family offering, which now includes Hector and a recently deceased Coco, to his new baby sister. Coco's collected letters from Hector proves that Ernesto stole his songs, destroying Ernesto's legacy and allowing Hector to be rightfully honored in his place. In the land of the dead, Hector and Imelda rekindle their romance, joining Coco for a visit to the living, where Miguel in mariachi attire sings and plays for his relatives, both living and dead. Oh my god, like the ending the ending for this film really shot an arrow. If it was like a someone shot an arrow through my heart. It was so emotionally painful and gut-wrenching, and will have you breaking down on your knees in tears. Maybe. I mean, depends on your feelings and your moods. This movie provided that Pixar decided to take a different approach and make a movie with skeletons, which is really creative even when most movies by Pixar feature characters such as anthropomorphic toys like Toy Story or talking animals. It tackles some. This film also tackles very serious subject matters, even for a Pixar film. I mean, this is a Pixar film, like a family-friendly film, but there are some serious, like adult, like messages and themes. I mean, again, it's Pixar. They always like there are. It's their movies are aimed for children, but there are some jokes and some things that parents and adults can appreciate and chuckle at, chuckle or giggle, but in addition, but to touching on the importance of family and following your dreams and aspiration, it's also possibly one of the darkest films ever produced by the studio themselves, fitting for a movie about the Mexican holiday Day of the Dead. It definitely still keeps its original standards very high. Most movies made by Pixar are known to be some of the greatest of all times, and this movie does not disappoint. But yeah, also this movie has some awesome directing by Lee uh Unkrich, the same director for Toy Story 3, which I didn't know about until I looked it up. But yeah, like, and Toy Story 3 was his like solo like directorial debut, and I love Toy Story 3. I mean, oh my god. Toy Story 3 like really hits you. Really hits you in your heart. There's also some impressive cinematography as expected, of course, for Pixar films. But yeah. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about. Now we're going to end this with some so not like complaints, nitpicks, and any issues, flaws that I might point out, or I thought it could have been better. The story does get a little easy to predict at times, as it used the liar revealed cliche. For instance, Ernesto doesn't seem to believe Miguel is his great great grandson at first, showing how he isn't in Miguel's family. And when he tries to send Miguel home, he tells him, "I hope," and I quote, "I hope you die real soon. You know what I mean." Foreshadowing, his connection to being a villain and a murderer. And speaking about Ernesto, he's not only a Pixar villain ripoff again, this time of Charles F. Muntz from Up, but also of Chester V from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, and uh, Guy Gagney from Turbo, as they appear like the protagonist's idol, only to be revealed as the twist villain, even though Ernesto's revelation was quite surprising and dramatic than the names that I've mentioned, the characters. But yeah, some scenes does have adult jokes in a kids film, such as when Miguel sees a naked female skeleton, although you don't see the skin. Yeah, like I said, there are some adult jokes and humor for the kids' film, so just be careful with that. Like I said, it doesn't, yeah, I mean, it's not really an issue, but I just giving you a little cautions and heads up. If you've already, I mean, this is already a spoiler review, so yeah, if you've seen the movie already, so just pointing that out there. A fair portion of the film lacks real tension, but thankfully it with makes up for that with its stellar climax. And this is kind of a nitpick, not a full on like issue or anything, but I did think, yes, the movie is titled Coco. um it gives off the impression that the main character is will be the grandmother, Coco, when it's really Miguel. So it's a slightly misleading title, but whatever. Whatever. It's such a great film. It's still a great film. Fantastic. This movie should have been called Miguel instead of Coco. Um, but I can understand with the story and everything going on. I can understand why Pixar and the director Lee decided to stick with that title rather than Miguel. But yeah, it's slightly misleading, but whatever. It's just a little tiny complaint. Whatever. A small moment, but while in the land of the dead, Miguel is noticed by a little skeleton girl and her mother, implying that they died together. Another skeleton family with two small children is also seen. One can only wonder what happened to them. It's pretty sad when you see how the land of the dead has more youthful looking people rather than older looking, including several children. And this is like really dark. We're getting into some dark territory, even more the darkest territory of this film, implying many of them have died young, and Miguel is afraid he could end up like them, which he would have if he stayed for too long. One could argue, you could argue that there's a glimmer of hope here as well, and the fact that they still exist in the land of the dead imply that they have relatives who love and remember them among the living, and are making a point to keep their memories alive. And that is such a memorable theme and message that I really appreciate when it came to this film. But yeah, the tone and the setting, while good and managed to do right, doesn't exactly feel like a Pixar movie, where it feels more like a Walt Disney Animation Studios film. But that's just a little nitpick, tiny critique, complaint, not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say for Coco. Like I said, dude, like I saw this movie, like I didn't see this movie in theaters. I rented this movie somewhere, somewhere. I don't remember if it's Walmart or Target, or I don't even remember. But I rented it somewhere, and maybe it was like Redbox or something, but I rented it somewhere, and I got home, played it, pressed played, and I was just blown away by how amazing this movie is. The animation, the voice acting, overall, the animation, the voice acting, the music, the visuals. Oh God, the emotional story and the respect for excuse me, for Mexican culture is just amazing. Amazing all around. And I heard that, some of the cast and the crew members, I heard that some of the cast and the crew members, well, I don't know about the cast, but some of the crew man, the some of the crew members, maybe a tiny bit of the cast members actually visited, some of the crew members visited Mexico for research on, the American, on the, I wanted to keep saying American. Oh my God, my brain's about to shut down. But Mexican, Jesus Christ, Jesus fucking Christ, Mexico. They're, trying to, submerge themselves in the Mexican heritage and culture and tradition, absorbing all that knowledge and information when it came to developing and making this film. And that's something I always appreciate when it comes to, directing and storytelling and, acting and all that great stuff. But yeah, and like I said, I watched this movie once when I went to this movie, which was back in which is 2017. The first time I watched this movie, the first time I watched this movie was when this movie was back in 2017. And then and then recently I rewatched the film, and that was the second time. That was the second time. So I've seen this movie twice. First time was back in 2017, the year it came out, the movie came out, and just yesterday. And it's been a long, long time. It's been a couple years, plus the pandemic and all that, and all of that. So yeah, it feels like a decade. It feels like almost a decade. But yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking your time to listening to my review, my thoughts on Coco. Please like and subscribe. That would help me out. That would boost me up, and I appreciate that. I am thankful for all that, and I love you guys. And I'll see you in my next video. Thanks.